The P on the we on the we gon' collect the E on the T on the D on we next on the T on we on the fast the C's on the heat on we on the fast but I'm
What's good, homies? It's your boy K-Spot. You know what I'm saying? Hey yo, check this out. So my last video that I dropped, the reaction to WNBA highlights or plays or whatever, go check out that video, by the way. That shit is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? One of the comments from that video was like, bring back the UFC reactions, mate. That's when I read that comment, that's the accent that came in my head, because of the mate part. So yeah, what better way to dive back into the UFC world by starting off with 10 interesting facts about Khabib Nurmagomedov. Damn, nigga, I got that name down easy, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I remember the first time I heard about him, nigga, I could barely pronounce that name, you know what I'm saying? But it's been a while since we, checked out some Khabib Nurmagomedov, some Khabib stuff on this channel, you know what I'm saying? He's one of my, he's probably my favorite UFC fighter, you know what I'm saying? Is he still undefeated? You know what I'm saying? I don't follow UFC like that. Wait, I can check it out right now. Oh, okay, so he's still undefeated, you know what I'm saying? That's dope, you know what I'm saying? I hope his streak doesn't end anytime soon, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of his. I ain't gonna say no more, you know what I'm saying? And if he has a fight coming up, if Khabib ever has a fight coming up, hit me up, you know what I'm saying? Put it in the comments, hit me up on my social media, you know what I'm saying? You'll see it up here, you know what I'm saying? I usually have it on one of these corners, or you can check the description, you know what I'm saying? Send me an IG DM or some shit, letting me know, a Khabib fight's about to come up, or any lit UFC fight that's coming up, you know what I'm saying? So I can get on it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got nothing else to say. Let's go. 10 interesting facts.
Just a couple of weeks separating us and UFC 229 now. The headlines have certainly been dominated.
Oh, this was done before the match.
That surrounds him at the moment. But what about Khabib?
This is the first time I heard about him.
To know him well
when he fought McGregor.
Since he debuted in the UFC in 2012, but many new fans are being introduced to him for perhaps the first time. That's in part because this is only the second time he's ever headlined a card. The fiasco of UFC 223 when he won the lightweight title earlier this year was his first time. With him being from Dagestan, a republic inside of Russia, a world away and with plenty of language barriers.
Bro, Russia is so badass, bro. So that's what I remember reacting to this shit. That shit was crazy.
And these are 10 interesting facts about Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Let's go.
Number 10, an extreme upbringing. Just being Russian is enough to invoke images of a rougher, all-around, more difficult lifestyle
Facts.
and an extremely harsh climate. But
Russia would kill you.
Another animal altogether. Much of Dagestan is buried deep in the Caucasus Mountains with high elevation and extremely cold temperatures. But the biggest factor of why it's so harsh is the history of the region. It was embroiled in wars with Russia throughout much of its history, and the country has been torn apart with terrorist groups invading the region since the 90s, with poverty plaguing many of its inhabitants. As a result, youth programs and gyms have been established all throughout the republic to keep kids off the streets and away from trouble. As an accomplished martial artist, freestyle wrestler, judo and sambo champion, and serviceman in the Ukrainian army,
bro, I heard his dad is a badass too.
Nurmagomedov and his uncles established their own training facilities to keep Khabib and 15 other boys alongside his brother, relatives, and friends away from the world outside. It was ran like a 24/7 gym and army training camp rolled into one. And some of those training methods that they used have become infamous, namely Khabib wrestling a bear as a young child.
Bro, that's
crazy. That really happened. He began formally training by age 6, and by the age of 17, he was fully involved in the Russian martial art of combat sambo, full contact, and began his mixed martial arts career at the age of 19, where his first 4 fights occurred in just 1 month. Number 9.
Damn.
Why does he wear
Put
that
in work
wig?
that
Well,
first
first off,
month.
it's actually not a wig. It's a traditional garb of the Dagestani culture where men faced the elements during battle and wore the head ornaments.
Yeah, y'all told me about
It's
that
made of
hat.
thick
I remember
wool and
asking
exists
about
in
that.
different forms throughout the region, as well as in Greater Russia. As a result of its connection to various armies in the Caucasus regions, and had also been associated with manhood and a man's overall identity in the past. Alongside this, men would also wear an open coat also made of wool called a burqa that was also worn and would be easily thrown off in battle to quickly
We wear
attack.
burqa
In
and
Khabib's
kill
case,
you.
it was offered up as a joke by one of his friends as a way to call back to their heritage. It is not commonly worn in current times, and Khabib and his father, like the concept,
I know that hat.
decided to wear it from
The
then
only
on.
reason I didn't
Now it's
recognize
one of
it
the few
is
trademarks
because I've never
really
seen a
given
white
an
one
era of
before.
uniformity
I've
in
seen the
UFC.
black ones though.
Number 8. His son was born on the day he fought. On the same day of one of Khabib's most seminal performances to date, when he fought Edson Barboza at UFC 219 on December 30th, 2017, his son Mabruk was born at 2 a.m. very early that morning. He actually discussed what the process was like on the MMA Hour just before he fought at UFC 223.
I found out after a couple hours when I stayed like 2 a.m.
Did you feel bad? Did you feel sad that you missed it?
Why I need to be there.
I don't know. Support your wife, be there, hold her hand. I don't know.
We have different mentality. I can ask for God. help
Different
her, and that's it.
mentality.
There's really not much to say
What a
about this.
badass,
It's just
bro.
crazy that he had a kid on the day of his fight, and perhaps
Damn.
even crazier was his reaction. And you can imagine his son will have a similar upbringing to his own.
The sport, of course, we're gonna wrestling.
Number 7, one of the most popular athletes in Russia. If you're a
So
fighter,
he has a
you know
son.
Fedor is by far the most popular Russian fighter and is seen as the biggest legend of the sport. But Khabib is a massive star there as well. You can watch footage of him being greeted with mobs of Russians in any part of the country when he arrives, and one of the biggest indications of his stardom is that he just passed Maria Sharapova as the most followed Russian athlete on Instagram.
Oh.
He also has this quote from UFC 205 just to show you how big his homeland is.
Hey guys, Irish only 6 million, Russian 150 million.
So if you're someone new looking into this fight and wondering who he is,
Yeah, there's a
it
large
should be noted how many
population.
people he has behind him back home, and not only there, but there's an estimated
But Russia is
1.6
huge,
million
though.
Russian Americans in the New York tri-state area, with many that see him as a superstar as well. Number 6, he's extremely accomplished outside of the cage.
Oh.
In addition to being the current UFC lightweight champion in the sport of MMA, he's got plenty of accolades on his mantle elsewhere. He holds
Okay.
the most accomplishments in Sambo with 2 gold medals and 1 silver under the World Sambo Combat Federation,
That's
won
tight.
the Combat Sambo Federation of Russian Championships with the gold medal in 2009, and the All-Russian Sambo Federation.
only version of
Championships
Sambo
as
I
well.
know
He's won 2 no-gi grappling tournaments with the North American
is,
Grappling Association in 2012, won the Army hand-to-hand
Dragunov
combat
from
European
Tekken.
Championship,
That's the
and is
only
the
version of
European
Sambo I
Federation
know.
champion to top things off. Beyond this, he has extensive training in judo as a black belt, boxing with Olympic trainers, and of course freestyle wrestling since he
Oh,
was a young
shit.
child. As if that's not all enough, he also grew up playing soccer and basketball alongside regular
Oh, for
swimming
real?
and gymnastics training that combined for an extremely
I know I'll beat him in
lifestyle,
basketball.
pretty much tracing back from the
That-
day
that's
he
the
was
only-
born. His dad Abdul Manap tells
That's
the
what-
story
that's what
how
I'm
he began
confident.
involving
Basketball,
himself in wrestling
I got
by
him.
wandering onto
Anything
the
else, he
mat at
whooping
the
my
early
ass.
age of just 2 unprovoked and started mimicking the exercises he would witness there in the gym. Oh, and just as a bonus, here are his thoughts on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Number 5, he's only fought 2 top 5 opponents in the UFC. While very few out there would doubt that Khabib deserves to be the current lightweight champion, it is interesting to note that the only top 5 opponents he's fought so far have been Edson Barboza and RDA before he won the title a few years back. Otherwise, it's been Michael Johnson, who is ranked number 6 when they fought in 2016.
McGregor
and
wasn't a
Al
top 5?
Alcantara, who was actually at number 11 just before UFC 223. Of the current top 15, he's only faced 2 of them. It's just interesting to note in comparison with many of his peers in the top 5. Most of them have fought just about everyone else in the top 10 in the past or in the current rankings. But of course, this is nothing in comparison to Conor McGregor, where he only faced Nate Diaz before fighting for the title, but that was even at 170, not 155, so he basically went straight to the belt. Kevin Lee also went up from Michael Chiesa to Tony Ferguson for the interim belt. So these aberrations do sometimes exist, and while some have made a big deal of it, the quality of Khabib's wins certainly justify his place at the top of the division. A Let's
He's
just hope that Tony
undefeated.
Ferguson fight somehow still happens down the line. Number 4, he's never lost a round in UFC competition. So it's well
Not
known
even a
and
round?
that Khabib is undefeated, boasting 26 wins and 0 losses. An impressive feat on its own, but even more impressive is the fact that he's never lost a single round. In the UFC, he's had 10 fights with 4 finishes and 6 decisions. Of those decisions, he earned either a unanimous decision by winning each round with a 10-9 score or greater, basically meaning they scored him winning every single round.
Holy shit.
Before the UFC, he was on a streak of 8 wins by finish and only had 4 decisions in his career back then.
Not even one round?
Decision. But there is one controversy in that bunch, and that's our next entry. Number 3, his takedowns were shut down in the past. In his fight with Gleison Tibau, Khabib was not able to score a single takedown in 3 rounds, and it's not like he wasn't constantly trying, he just wasn't able to get them. This fight went to a decision, and despite this, he earned a score of 30-27 on each of the judges' official scorecards. What's controversial about this is that both Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg thought he lost the fight and were shocked by the decision.
The corner of Nurmagomedov is getting urgent.
If he loses this fight, which we both think he probably will lose by decision, it's a learning experience for this young man.
Khabib Nurmagomedov!
Wow, indeed. Whoa.
And honestly, I see where they're coming from. At the very least, it should have been a split decision with something closer to a 29-28 score in the final scorecards. And Khabib himself was actually taken down in the fight and was outlanded according to Fight Metric by significant strikes and total strikes overall. The argument for Khabib is based in the fact that he was pushing forward most of the fight and initiated grappling exchanges against the cage very often. Although he usually wasn't attacking in those positions, and they were broken up for inactivity most of the time. Either way, there are a ton of people that have seen that fight and still think he won, and it's pretty old by now since that was back in 2012, and he's got 6 years of wins separating himself from that fight in 2018. Number 2, he almost retired. If you look closely at his record, you'll notice he didn't fight between April 2014 and April 2016.
Man, that's a long time.
He went through several injuries that included 2 canceled fights with Donald Cerrone due to a reoccurring knee injury, and in the first of 4 failed bookings against Tony Ferguson, Khabib pulled out due to a rib injury ahead of their fight. This was all very hard on him, and he expressed the desire to actually retire from the sport altogether.
Bro, knee injuries can fuck you up.
Pursue the title.
I remember a couple years ago, you were talking about retirement. You remember after the injuries, and he was the one who told you can't retire yet, right?
Yes, father said, how you wanna be retired if you have some problems and you wanna give up? Give up is easy way. A lot of your friends, teammates, me, everybody waiting for your title fight, and now you wanna retire? What is this?
It's just crazy to look back at this moment in time and think he could have retired and closed the book on his career after fighting RDA before the whole mess with Conor McGregor could have even unfolded. Surely we owe his father a debt of gratitude, unless you just really don't like Khabib. In that case, you can... Number 1, how he got the title. To call UFC 223 a debacle is a huge understatement. Not only were several fights scrapped from the card due to McGregor's antics, there were 5 different opponents waiting in front of Khabib during fight week. Tony Ferguson's freak injury tripping over a cable during pre-fight media obligations, Max Holloway, the 145
I've noticed
that he needed to stop cutting
a lot of fighters' ears look weird. Like, why do their ears look like that?
Whatever they witnessed that his team didn't backstage. Then it was thought to be Anthony Pettis, who ended up declining.
It's like swollen or some shit.
Felder was rejected by the Athletic
See, look at this
based
dude.
on his ranking. So finally, it was Al Iaquinta.
Let me know. Why do the ears look like that?
But what's also interesting is that Khabib won the title while there were still 2 champions present. Tony Ferguson was still the interim champion, and Conor McGregor was still the undisputed champion. It was stipulated by Dana White that when the first punch was thrown, that Conor would be stripped of his title, and by extension, interim champ Ferguson, because he was injured as well. This is the first time in UFC history that anyone has won a title in this manner. Champions have certainly been stripped of the title in the past, but not during the fight, and definitely not 2 of them at the same time. Since then, this has happened again, or maybe hasn't happened, at least it was supposed to, with Colby Covington when Tyron Woodley fought Darren Till. The rankings on UFC.com still
I've heard of Tyron Woodley.
Though. So
I've seen him around.
It sounds like Dana White didn't go through with that one. But either way, before UFC 223, it was a completely new concept to strip a champion in this way, much less 2 as
that dude put his head down.
So those are my interesting facts. For a
Alright, so that was 10 interesting facts about Khabib. Damn, I learned a lot of new shit, you know what I'm saying? The one that blew my mind, the fact that blew my mind was the fact that he's never lost a round. Like, it's already amazing that he's undefeated, you know what I'm saying? He's never lost a fight, but he's never even lost a round in all those 26 fights, not even one. Bro, that's insane, nigga. Sheesh. Anyways, yeah. Damn, it feels good to be back, you know what I'm saying? But yo, yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, leave your comments, you know. I got plenty of UFC related videos, you know, so on the channel. Go check those out. I'll put 2 of them at the end of this video on the end screen. You know, you can get started there. And yeah, I got nothing else to say. Oh yeah, make sure you subscribe. Did I say subscribe? Yeah, and like the video too, you know what I'm saying? It's your boy K-Spot.